All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen out there in YouTube land. I am Deleted Scenes, and I'd like to welcome you to tonight's episode of UNSCRIPTED. I am a human being, I am an American, and I am a YouTube Ronin. Already in the chat, FKHC 2005, aka Tim, the tired midnight blogger himself, Curtis Selby. Friend of the channel, JPRPH1. My Stalkerazzi returns, ladies and gentlemen, ADV Elements. Shadow of the Raven. Host of Films with Friends, the creator of the 10-word review Big Out presents. The future, Shashi. Friend of the channel, one of my earliest supporters, Deep Henzak. Joining us before she has to get back to work, Sin's Corner. Loyal Blue Wrench, the bird woman of YouTube, Connie Cleary. Saying hello to everyone joining us tonight on Twitter. Host of Geeky Geezers, co-host of Friday Night Last Call, and live from Sparkwood 21, Aged Boomer. All right. Well, I hope everyone had a good week. And for those of you who might be new to my channel or to this show, and are coming upon this, this is the show where I get to kind of rant. I get to kind of let things out a little bit, And I tell you what, we have some politicians in this country that could rival Parliament, because those fellas are always screaming at each other. And the difference there is the politicians in this country, let's face it, some of them don't like us very much. And it's beyond just saying we're all ists and phobes, that's something more along the lines of what Hollywood would do. But these are people that unfortunately that we have to choose from. And I'm going to get a little salty cracker on you this episode. Now, our choices are the sitting president, or I guess you could say the shitting president, because apparently he craps himself quite a bit. A fellow who says that who just admitted in an interview that basically a worm ate part of his brain, you know, and then you have Trump and everything that goes along with him. And I'm sitting here wondering, honestly, do we have a fourth choice? you know, um, because I know who I'm voting for of the three. I just think in general we deserve better. And Curtis is absolutely right here. So I'll just go ahead and read what he says. I think most of the politicians think we're sheep. They might start out wanting to make a difference, but somewhere after a few years, they get jaded. Yeah, you know, I do think they start off as idealists, and then they're in for a few years, and they take a turn. Now, let's put aside the younger politicians for a moment. And I want to talk about the older ones. I want to talk about the lifers. I want to talk about those who only their only concern is their own power. Their only concern is how much money they can make. I'm talking about those that become millionaires who spend 50 years in office and yet never do a damn thing. All that has changed is how much of our money they've lined their own pockets with. Now, you get a politician, for example, like Sheila Jackson Lee, who's again one of these lifers, never gets anything done, um, only succeeds in helping to divide the country down racial lines. Now, Sheila Jackson Lee made a statement this week to the effect that we can survive on the sun and the moon is made out of gas. Yes, you heard me correctly. Let me say it again. Sheila Jackson Lee says that we can survive on the sun and the moon, that I'm no astrologer, but it always looked pretty solid to me, is made out of gas. And this is one of the people who is running our country right now, folks. Now, we have another politician, another lifer, that went on to MSNBC this week and made another statement. And I'm going to be playing part of it. And if this gets my channel taken down for copyright, then so be it. There's always Rumble. This is Maxine Waters. And she makes a statement here that I would like all of you to hear.
This is a man who we better be careful about. And I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask the Justice Department and I'm going to ask the president to tell us what they're going to do to protect this country against violence if he loses. I want to know about all of those right-wing organizations that he's connected with who are training up in the hills somewhere and targeting, what communities they're going to attack.
So, okay. Now, I've had people in my own family, who have told me the same story, kind of the left-wing part of the family, who are absolutely convinced that there are militias training in the hills, currently, apparently, according to Maxine Waters, under the command of one Donald John Trump, currently a private citizen. Now, like I said, I have heard Democrats tell these kind of stories before, that there are these militias who are living up in the hills who are training to attack certain areas if whatever candidate they support doesn't win an election. Now, I look at it this way, and again, this show and everything that I say on it is entirely my opinion, and you do not have to agree. If these quote-unquote militias are living up in the hills, then I say good for them. They're self-sufficient. They grow their own food. They have built their own homes. They're self-sufficient. They don't need us. They can take care of themselves. If they are lucky, they will never hear from us again. Now, Maxine Waters and her ilk, these lifetime politicians who have done absolutely nothing except divide this country and then make money off of that division. They have always been of the belief that these people who live up in the hills, those who I choose to call self-sufficient, those that the media would refer to as doomsday preppers or militias. Now, they always place this racial connotation to these people. I don't think they care less. These people are not living up in the hills deciding who they're going to attack and when and how. They went up to the hills to get away from us. And I don't blame them one bit. Look at the way they've been treated in the press. And are there crazy types? Look, I'm not talking about the David Koresh types. I'm not talking about the Randy Weaver types. Okay. I'm not talking about like Ruby Ridge right now, even though I got a lot to say about that. Maybe down the line I'll talk about it, but not this show. These people that I choose to think of as self-sufficient, I think they just want to live their own lives. And they want to get away from this kind of foolishness, you know. They know which way this is heading. And they're getting out of the way. Yes, exactly. The proof is, look at the declining state of these left cities. And now you have people who are leaving the cities. You know, they're going kind of old school, so to speak. You know, as Curtis says right here, they just want to survive and be left alone and have zero desire to harm anyone. Agreed. You know, anything goes wrong in the cities, these people aren't going to be there. They're out of the way. They're living on their own by no one else's leave, and they're prepared. These people don't give two shits about Donald Trump or Maxine Waters. Now, again, my opinion, Maxine Waters is a nutcase who has made all of her money dividing this country down racial lines. And she has caused more trouble than these self-sufficient people who live up in the hills would ever dream of doing. They don't want trouble. That's why they left, to get away from the trouble. And this woman, with no proof, claims that these people are planning an attack. She has no proof of this. She goes on a network where she knows she will not be questioned. and she insults these Americans. These are my fellow countrymen you are talking about, woman. You have some fucking respect. Because they're doing it right. The people who choose to be self-sufficient, these preppers as it were, all right, they are no different from what the people who moved out west chose to do. We are going to live off of the land. We are going to build our own homes. We're going to build our own schools. We're going to live up here by ourselves in peace. Why? Because the politicians aren't taking care of the cities. And they're starting not to take care of the suburban areas either. Because they choose to line their own pockets. Respect from a politician. Yeah, right. Well, they better learn. And the thing that we have to start doing is taking these career politicians like Maxine Waters, and we have to vote them out of office. And I'm not just talking about the career politicians on the left, okay? I'm talking about the career politicians on the right who are no better. They have done the same thing. They have also gotten rich while the rest of us have gotten poorer. It has been going on my entire life, and I am sick of it. These people who have been in office since I was a toddler, who have done absolutely fucking nothing to change a thing. It's time for them to go. Start local work up. Exactly. Brewster's Millions. Vote none of the above. Exactly. They don't respect us. They don't respect our fellow countrymen. It's time for them to go. And to anyone of these self-sufficient people, if any of you happen to come upon this broadcast, you probably won't. You probably got better things to do. Our politicians may not respect you, but I do. Do as the frontiersmen of old did. Live your own life. Stake your own claim. Mark your own ground. Without respect, we reject. Exactly. We don't need these people. these career politicians. We don't need them. Vote them out and find people who can do a better job. Find someone who will remember that they work for us and not the other way around. When Rand Paul first ran for office, to his lobbyists ignoring him and finding all over other politicians, he asked her why she was ignoring him. She replied, "We only give money to winners." Yeah, but who picks the winners? Who gets to pick those winners? Who? George Soros? David Rockefeller? Klaus Schwab? Hey, I'm sorry to keep bringing these people up, but you know what? Their names keep popping up every time something goes wrong in this country. It's always the same politicians. It's always the Maxine Waters. It's always the Sheila Jackson Lees. It's always to Gerald Nadlers. It's always to Chuck Schumers. Never anything positive to say. Always negative. Always talking like they're better than us and they know more than we do. These people who have spent 50 plus years in office and done absolutely nothing except make things worse. You want to know why they continue to hack on the people who live up in the hills? I'll tell you why. Because they know they can't control those people. So they choose to demonize them. Maxine Waters basically just straight up called all of these people racists and terrorists. See? Throw an ist or a phobe name at them. You see, it's that old argument, and it keeps coming up. You want to be on the right side of history, don't you? You don't want anybody thinking you're an ist or a phobe, do you? Do you? Biden has been in politics about as long as I've been alive, Matt. It's been a good 50 years. And yeah, it will be generations to sort this out. Because look at what they've done to Gen Z. Look what they've done to them. We have a whole generation that might be lost. Now, anybody who watches my channel knows that I don't like getting political. I'm a no drama channel. This is the show where I get to vent a little bit. And if somebody goes and does something stupid or if there's somebody who thinks that they are above the law, and next week I'm going to be talking about someone whose name rhymes with Smalik Maldwin, because he's somebody who seems to think that he's above the law. And he's someone who I believe is being protected because he votes the way they want him to vote. And I talk about stuff on this show that I wish I didn't have to. Because all of the people who came onto my television and said, vote for me because I'm going to change things, none of them ever have. They've either made things worse or their hands were tied or they just gave up. Folks, I don't have any answers. I have the same questions you do. And unlike the Maxine Waters of the world, I'm not going to lie to you. And I'm not going to insult you. Because I feel that each and every one of you needs at least one person in your life who's not going to do that. So my message to you tonight is to vote these career politicians who are refusing to do their jobs, who are making bank off of your backs, while they insult you. It is time to get rid of these people. And we're not going to do violence. We're not going to go online and threaten these people, because they're not worth that kind of energy. We're going to walk into the voting booths this November and we're going to vote with our conscience. And we are going to tell these career politicians that their careers are over. Go back and eat chicken marsala at your fucking country club and play golf all day. Because we don't need you anymore. You are a detriment. You are in the way of progress. because we're not paying you anymore. You're going to take your hands out of our pockets. Doomcock is right. Tim is right. In the chat earlier. Without respect, we will reject. And this is not just about not watching Doctor Who anymore or Star Trek. This is bigger. These are the people who claim to be our leaders, who claim to be our betters. It's time to send them all packing, Democrat and Republican alike. And to the libertarians and to the independents, you're on notice too. You better practice what you preach, or we're not going to vote for you either. If, as Curtis said in the chat, if we've got a Brewster's Millions this thing and vote for none of the above, then we'll vote for none of the above. We will reject you. We deserve better. We are better. We know that now. We know what these people think of us now. Because they go on television, they go on social media, and they prove to us what kind of people they are. And they tell us every day what they think of us. It is time for us to stand up and push back. We don't have to be violent. We don't have to protest. We don't riot. Go into the voting booth and we do the right thing. And we send these motherfuckers back home. You do not respect us, we will reject you. And these career politicians that I've had to listen to for the last 50 years, I've had enough of their attitude. If you're not going to do your job, then you're fired. Now, one thing I need to do before you, my loyal subscribers and friends, will do is fire me if I don't get back to the chat. So Curtis says in the chat that it's supposed to rain tonight. That's bullshit. You're lying. No. We've definitely had a spot of rough weather. And for anyone out there who is in the path of any storms tonight, if you have to batten down the hatches, please do so. Be safe. Curtis also says, I want to vote for Boris Karloff for president. We will probably have been better off with him. And hello to my partner in crime, the toxic gunslinger himself, Jedi Bill, joining us tonight. Don't blame me, I voted for Kodos. Matt says the president of Ukraine was the comedian who played the role of a high school teacher that accidentally got elected as the president of Ukraine. Oh, wonderful. He also played the piano with his Our betters don't make me laugh. Yeah, that's what they seem to think they are. Yeah. This is why they should have put in term limits when they had the chance. Exactly. And I don't think they'll have the chance to do it. Well, then if term limits is off the table, then we have to do it ourselves in a voting booth. We're just worker ants to them. Yeah. It can help a lot getting new blood in there. Yeah, but that's the thing the Democrats kept saying, remember? That they needed new blood. We need somebody new. You get new ideas. And then they turn around and they voted for Joseph fucking Biden. This guy has been around for more than 50 years who never got more than 1% in a primary before this. Lords and serfs, my friends. Lords and serfs. Yes. Well, I think the convention of the states could help too. It could go off the rails real fast. Yeah, it could. Matt says, I have a few issues with term limits. First, I think the lobbyists can buy candidates faster than we can term limit them. Second, term limits would end the terms of the good ones as well as the bad. Yeah. And the good ones are a lot harder to find. Yeah, sadly, yeah. Let me get plugged back in here because the power to my computer usually drained by the end of a show like this. Maybe I need something better. All right. Now, we got a few minutes left before Geeky Geezers starts. So while I do the what's on my shelf segment for the evening, if you have any questions for me, now's the time to jump in. All right. Now, there's something that I want to bring up. Now, some of you who follow what's going on with physical media, you'll know that you will know that there's been an issue with Warner Brothers DVDs in particular. People going back, trying to play their DVDs and not having them play for whatever reason, even if they have a clean disc. Now, where was I last night? Well, I'll let you know where I was last night. Last night, I did a program with Netters Network, Troy Pacelli, and Big Al Presents entitled Netters Network's Retro Cinema. And last night's movie was The Departed, which is a remake of Infernal Affairs, a film from Hong Kong. Now, this is a Warner Brothers DVD, and I wanted to follow along using my own personal copy, as I often do when I'm on a watch party. Only what happened was my disc wouldn't play. Now, so far as I'm aware, the list containing the Warner Brothers DVDs that people have had an issue with, The Departed is not on that list. So I don't know if it's just an issue with my particular copy or if the disc rot is now happening with my my copy as well. But anyway, my video pick of the week is The Departed. I just want to warn everybody who has this DVD copy, that you might not be able to play it, because I was unable to play mine last night. So that's got me concerned for the Warner Brothers discs, and it's something that I'm going to be looking into a little bit more, and I may do a show about it. I don't know. That might be something for the future. Where did I go after that? I went to sleep after that. You know, and I warned Bill that that's something that might happen. I was hoping to make the karaoke show last night, but I'm getting old, as you can see, a little gray here. I need my sleep. So, unfortunately, I had to pass out. But hopefully, I'll be able to jump in for either the Wednesday show or next Saturday. R.I.P. movie disc. Yeah. And hello to the emoji queen, Lady Mist. All right, folks. I do not see any questions in the chat. I am glad to see that Lady V Elements has rejoined us. I hope you're feeling better. Yes, we did have tragedy. Roger Corman, the legendary film producer and director, passed away on the 9th. We learned about this. We learned about this last night, actually, during the program. Roger Corman will indeed be missed, and I understand that there's going to be a segment about him on Geeky Geezers tonight. So hopefully everybody will join me over there here in about 4 minutes for tonight's episode of Geeky Geezers over on Aged Boomer's channel. Wrenches, if you're there, please leave the link in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and wrap the show for this evening. These career politicians only care about their own wealth and power. They do not care about you. If you do not think as they do, then they dismiss you. This is an election year. Make your voice be heard. You deserve better, and you are better. And I know we have some people in the chat from the UK tonight. My brothers across the pond, you deserve better as well. I have seen what the politicians in your country have done to your country. You deserve better as well. Follow my advice tonight. Vote these people out. Me tonight on Twitter. I can't see you, but I know that you're there. I want to thank everybody in the chat. Lady Mist, Lady V, Big Al Presents, Shadow of the Raven, Deep Henzak, FKC 2005, Curtis Shelby, Shashi, Matt Sheetwood, Deep Henzak, Jedi Bill, and everyone that I may have forgotten to mention. You're the reason I do this show, and the show continues. Since Corner was with us, JPRPH1, Connie Cleary, All right. From HQ and all points north, south, east, west, and beyond. Good night. Take care. Stay strong, because this is how we win.